Thank you. Well, I was about to say good morning because I'm coming to you from beautiful Toronto. But some of you are coming to us from China. So good evening if you're in China, and good morning if you're in Canada. I am delighted to be here today to work with you on public speaking. It's so important. It's such an important skill for you to be good at public speaking. It really, no matter what job you do, no matter what you plan to do with your life, you are going to have to be able to speak properly to people. And that's what this class is all about. So I've called this class Speak Up to Stand Out, because when people hear you, they're going to notice you. You're going to stand out amongst maybe your peers, maybe other people in your life. You'll stand out. People are going to say, wow, Elsa's a really good communicator. And they'll notice. They will notice. So my name is Steve, or Steven, whatever you'd like to call me. I'll answer to both. I am from E3 Toronto, and I recently found out about public speaking. I say recently, 8 years ago is when I really started to focus on improving my public speaking. And I went to an organization called Toastmasters. And you'll see behind me, there's a whole bunch of certificates on the wall from awards that I have won. Toastmasters has helped me greatly, but I realized I should have learned this when I was younger. And so that's what's caused me to create E3 Toronto, because I want to help young people find their voice, grow their confidence, make compelling speeches, make speeches that people want to really listen to. Now, we all have communication skills. Some of us are strong in some things. Some of us are strong in other things. My job as a teacher is to help you strengthen the skills you have and then help you to develop new skills. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what E3 Toronto is all about. Now, I do have some ground rules for class, and Uncle Michael's already touched on rule number 1, and that is the camera is on when the class is on. And right now, class is on. Can anyone tell me why we want your cameras to be on?
I know.
You know. Okay, Leo, tell us. Why would you want, why do I want cameras on?
I think that why we need to open our camera on is that when we open our camera, you can know that eye contact and also body language.
Yes, exactly. If you just have your voice, then your message may not be as clear to people because your voice may not be enough to send the message through. You can see right now how I'm using my hands to gesture while I talk. Well, if the camera's off, I can't see the gesture. And I also can't see your facial expression. I can't see if you're happy, you're sad, you're bored, you're tired. I can't see any of that. Oh, excuse me. I can't see any of that. So I'd like to thank, is it Cecilia? Is that how I pronounce it? Yes, okay, good. And Jack, thank you. And Kevin, who's a big Minecraft fan, nice. And Elsa, thank you, Elsa. And this is a unique name, iPhone. Wow. Wish my parents called me iPhone. No, I'm only kidding. Hello, sir. What is your name, iPhone? Because it can't be iPhone. You can unmute and tell me your name. Oh, he's reaching for it. Is he going to find the unmute button? No. Oh, and Jacob turned his camera on. Thank you, Jacob. Oh, no, Jacob turned it off. He doesn't want to see us. Okay, well, iPhone is having trouble trying to unmute, so I'll just keep going. So Sophia, Gary, Eva C, Pang Pang, and Frank, if you guys could turn camera on, it would be really good, and it would make the class more enjoyable for everybody. Now, my other rule is that we mute unless you are the speaker. Why would that be a rule? Elsa, maybe you can tell us. Why would we want everyone to be muted except the person who's speaking? Do you know why?
Because it will be noisy.
That's right. We could get, I've heard people's dogs barking. I've heard people having parents cook in the background. So yeah, it can get distracting and noisy. And then if multiple of us, there goes my phone chiming. If multiple of us are unmuted, we may talk over each other so that no one hears. Now, some of my students say I'm old. I don't know. I like pen and paper, so to take notes. So I encourage you to have something to write with if you want. And you may need it today because we're going to do an exercise later where you're going to have to make some notes. And then the toughest rule, well, not really the toughest rule, but the rule that I like the best is have fun. My job as a teacher is to keep it fun. If we drift into silly, I've got to bring us back to fun. I'm a big believer in making a class fun so that everyone has a good time. All right, how do you like my rules? Is everyone okay with them? I'm looking now at all my screen. I thought I saw Eva's camera on and now it's off again. I wanted to see her. There she is. Good. Oh, no. Do I have to say good morning to you, Eva, or is it good evening to you?
Good night.
Good night. Is Eva in China?
No.
Oh, so I should say good morning to you then.
Mhm.
Okay, good morning. Nice to see your smile. That's another great reason to have our cameras on. I love seeing smiles. My name is Steve, as I said. I am a Toastmaster. I continue to go to Toastmasters. I have two kids, Derek, whose age, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. He just turned 16. He's about ready to start driving. I'm nervous as a dad. And then we have James, who's age 9. And both boys really are a big part of my life. I love being a dad. So that's part of who I am. I live in Mississauga, which is a lot tougher to say than Toronto. So you can just say I live in Toronto if you want. And I'm a passionate public speaker. So today's class is going to be, Uncle Michael said that you guys are the brightest kids he's ever seen. And he said he wanted a really challenging class for you guys. He didn't want to make it too easy. So I had to go and I had to get inspired. So we're going to talk about inspiration today. How can we get inspired? And how can we make others get inspired by our message? Going to talk a little bit about finding our own stories. I find that young people tend to think they don't have a story to share, when in reality, you've got lots of stories to share, and they can be quite powerful. And then you're going to get a chance to inspire the audience later on. So it's going to be a fun class. And I will be calling on you, whether your camera is on or not on, to speak. So be prepared. There are my two boys. Now, this photo is a little older. If you can believe it, Derek is now as tall as me. In this photo, he was not. So that's Derek. And there is little James. James is also grown. He's taller now, too. And they inspire me. Every day they inspire me. They inspire me because Derek inspires me because he is pursuing his passion. He's at the National Ballet School of Canada studying ballet dancing, and he loves it. And what he's inspired me to do is follow my passion. And remember, I said I'm a passionate public speaker. So Derek has inspired me and continues to inspire me. Now, James, how does James inspire me? James likes to make people laugh. He loves to make people laugh. He has a good sense of humor. He likes to joke around. And that reminds me that you've got to sometimes have fun in life. You can't always be serious. You need to have some fun too. So that's what James does to inspire me. And what is inspiration? Well, there's the definition that I found when I went to the internet to look. Inspiration is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or to feel something, especially to do something creative. That's interesting. You'll often hear artists say, oh, I was inspired to do this painting because of I saw a beautiful sunset. So now I wanted to paint the sunset. So that is what inspiration is all about. And as a public speaker, doing an inspirational speech is probably the best thing that you can do as a speaker, because you're going to make people want to do something too. You're going to make them feel something, which is really, really cool. Really cool. So we're going to ask you, do you have a famous person that inspires you, that makes you want to do something? Or do you have somebody in your life? Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's your mom and dad that inspire you. And then what gets you excited or enthused? This is what we're going to talk about now. So I've told you I'm inspired by Derek and James. They inspire me. They get me all excited. Does anybody have, is there a famous person that somebody gets inspired by, that they like? They think, oh, I'd like, this person gets me excited about something. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some examples I've heard. Some people have told me Steve Jobs is inspirational to them because they like that he created all that wonderful technology that we use today. So there's Steve Jobs. I've heard Nelson Mandela, some people say, is inspirational because he lived in South Africa, where if you were you had dark skin color, you were treated very poorly. And he was in prison for over 30 years, I believe, for something that he shouldn't have been in prison for. And yet it never changed his message. He never changed his belief. And when he came out of prison, he became the leader of the country. And he ended the terrible practice of discrimination amongst his citizens. So does anyone have someone that they're inspired by or that they get excited about? All right. Oh, there's a good one from Leo. Kobe Bryant. Now, Leo, can you unmute and tell us why Kobe Bryant inspires you?
So that I got several reasons why. First is
Sure.
because as we all know that 5 times final champion and 2-time final FMVP, which is hard for people to get that, and also for 13 times NBA All-Star, which you can just think about, for so many people in this world, there's only 300 people can get in this community. I mean NBA.
Yes.
Like, and he just became like the top of it. And also, as we all know, that on 2012, I thought, like, he just made a talk which is about Mamba mortality, which is never gave up, and it inspires a lot of people, including me. So that this is why that I think Kobe Bryant is a guy who inspires me.
Wow. Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now, how can we tell that Leo is inspired by Kobe? How could you tell from the way he talked? Was there anything he did or said that made you realize, oh, yeah, he really is a fan of Kobe? There's a couple of things I caught. One is he knew a lot of information about Kobe. He mentioned how many times he won a championship. He mentioned how many times he was an all-star. And he even mentioned how many NBA basketball players there are in the world and how Kobe was even above them. Now, I wasn't so inspired by Kobe because he once scored 72 points, I think. Maybe it was more, against my
81,
Toronto
81.
Raptors.
81.
81 points he scored in a game once. He could have played alone and beat my team. I only kid
in
though.
China, people just call this like the day killing the Raptor.
Yes. That was an amazing game, and he was an amazing player. And it's too bad he's gone from the world because he was still doing some great work, inspiring people.
That's right.
So very good example, Leo. Now I saw another one go into the chat. Let me see if I get it up because I want to make sure I get the right person. I have Kevin saying Elon Musk inspires him. So Kevin, can you tell us why?
Elon Musk inspired me because he's planning on changing the world. Like he's doing SpaceX, Tesla's electric car, which will change the world forever.
I think
Like electric.
Yes, go on. I don't want to stop you. Is there anything else?
Like little electric car can change the world because where oil car has pollution, electric car has less pollution. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to save the planet.
So
you can do it.
Yeah.
And then SpaceX.
And I think that's going to stop the climate change.
It could certainly be a big help.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't stop it, it's going to certainly help the climate change. You're right, Kevin.
Yep.
And it's amazing to see a man that owns a company trying to help so many people. He's literally trying to help the world with his company. That's inspiring. I agree with Kevin. And if you notice, when Leo and Kevin both spoke, their voices got excited. I could hear that they were excited. That's what inspiration is all about. It's about making you feel excited about something. Does anyone else want to throw something in the chat about who inspires them? Because we've got two great names in there. Does anyone else have a third name they want to put in? Or are we going to move on? Let's see. I'm going to give another second and see if anybody puts something in there. Otherwise, we'll move on. But don't think that I'm not going to call on you to speak. You will be called upon to speak. Pang Pang says Elon Musk.
Yes, because Elon Musk created electric cars to help the world, and he made a lot of inventions to help the world, and that's really inspiring people. Yes.
Yeah. And I love he's even thought of for space travel. It used to be once a rocket went up, we would detach and the rockets would fall to the ground, never to be used again on the space shuttle.
Yeah.
He's made it that the rocket comes back to Earth and can be reused again. So he's not creating even waste that way. Very inspirational man, and a very great company. Oh boy, that wasn't very good. A very good company that is all about trying to help the world. Nicely done. Thank you, Pang Pang, for coming in with that comment. And thank you to Leo and Kevin as well for giving us who inspires them. Now, an inspirational speech is, like I say, it's probably the best thing you can do as a speaker, because you're going to be, both of our examples that were given today, Kobe and Elon, have both got speeches out there that you can go watch and get inspired by. And the purpose of an inspirational speech is to get the audience to improve? Maybe personally, maybe emotionally. Maybe you're asking them to get better at school or something in their profession, or spiritually. You're trying to get the audience to change a behavior, to do something different, to take an action that is needed. And you're building on the audience enthusiasm. You're not lecturing them. You're not saying to them, you must do this. I enforce you to do that. You are building on their enthusiasm. You're getting them excited about something. And you're appealing to the audience to follow a plan or to take an action. Now we're going to watch a speaker. Now this lady, her name is Sherry Sue. S-U is her last name. And she came second in the World Championship of Public Speaking. And I'd like to borrow what Leo did with Kobe. Toastmasters runs a contest every year. It's called the International Speech Contest. And we have 250,000 people in Toastmasters. Sherry came second for the whole world. She's a great speaker. And I'm going to show you her speech that came second. What I want you to do is, as you're watching the speech, I want you to think about and write down, this is where you may need pen and paper, write down, what does Sherry do well in her speech? How does she inspire us? How do we get excited about what she's saying? And then maybe tell us what you love most about her speech. All right? So those are the three questions you're going to. And this is Sherry. Now, she is from Singapore, I believe. And an extra little tidbit while this loads. I was in the audience when she delivered this speech. This took place in Chicago. And I was there watching her. And when she came off the stage, I thought she should have won. Let's see if you guys agree with me. So here we go. Sherry Sue doing a speech called Turn Around. I'm going to turn off my video while we watch the speech just to save the bandwidth. And here we go.
Sherry Sue, turn around. Turn around, Sherry Sue.
Our life is like this stage. It is bright, but sometimes it's scary. It's easy to turn your back on your fear, but it's hard to turn around. Context here, my friends. If you cannot see me on this stage, please just focus on the screens. I'm a little scared right now. Have you ever turned your back on someone or something because you are scared? When I was 7, I was only afraid of 2 people, my mom and dad. One night, we were having noodles for dinner. I could feel the soft light in the dining room, smell the tomato sauce, and hear my mom's voice. Sherry, put all the chopsticks on the table. Yes, and yum. Mom, Dad, let's eat. I was eating. My parents were talking. But suddenly, what's wrong with you? My mom stood up. My dad's eyes grew wide. Don't do this in front of the kid. I heard some bad words I didn't know the meaning of, and some bad words I wish I didn't know the meaning of. All of a sudden, my mom knocked all the bowls and plates on the floor. Red tomato sauce splashed all over the wall. Mom, Dad, stop fighting, please. I'm scared. My mom looked at me. Sherry, I'm leaving. Who do you want to live with? Mom or Dad? Pick one. Can you imagine how I felt? Pick one. I turned around and ran into my room. I heard my mom slam the door and left. My dad came into my room and sat next to me. Baby, I know it's hard, but I have to ask you a serious question. Do you know how to clean off the tomato sauce on the wall? Two months later, my mom came back, but home sweet home became a battlefield again. And that war continued for 15 years. After college, I escaped to live in a big city alone. People and relationships, they're scary. But when I turn my back on them, my dark, lonely shadow scared me even more. I was miserable. And my only friend Lily told me, Sherry, come with me to Toastmasters. So I went to Toastmasters. Such a scary place. So many people clapped their hands for no reason. A guy named Jim approached me. His little eyes were sparkly. Sherry, if you want to know more about Toastmasters, you and I can have dinner together. Is he asking me out? It's like a movie, a horror movie. But the more I got to know about Jim, the more I thought he's cute, funny, and warm-hearted. But then I heard a little voice, you can't handle a relationship. You're gonna hurt him and yourself. I turned my back on Jim. Let's just be friends. Sherry, why? I don't want to ask my child one day, Mom or Dad, pick one. Sherry, we are not your parents. We are competent communicators. What scares you now may bring you the most beautiful thing. Give it a chance and turn around. Jim held my arms and turned me around. I looked at him in the eye. Wow, it's not that scary anymore. Jim turned my world around, and now we are happily married. Do you know what it's like to marry a Toastmaster? All of our conversations are 5 to 7 minutes long. I'm not even afraid of my parents anymore. Jim and I became their marriage consultants. I am scared now, but I wouldn't want to miss all your beautiful, smiling faces. Are you turning your back on your fear. Our life is like this stage. But what scares you now may bring you the most beautiful thing. Give it a chance and just
Okay, that was Sherry's speech. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's use our little reaction buttons here to show that we're clapping, even though it's, yes, very good. Very good. It was an excellent speech, I thought. So let's hear from you guys. What did you think she did well? What do you think Sherry did well in her speech? What did you like about it? Let's go to Jack. Jack, what did you think? Just unmute Jack so we can hear you.
I like Sherry's sound. She speaks loud.
Yes, we could clearly understand her, couldn't we? And that's important when you're giving a message. If you talk too fast like this and you try to do that, people are not going to hear you. Or if you talk really soft and you don't talk very loud when you talk, people are not going to be inspired by you. You've got to speak with good volume. Excellent, Jack. I like that one. Now, there was somebody else I was watching on camera while she was watching. Cecilia, what did you think? I saw you laughing at parts. What did you like about her speech?
It was funny.
It was funny. What part did you find funny?
When she pretended to be the other people.
Ah, yes. I thought it was funny when she was the dad. And she said, I have to ask you a serious question. And I thought, oh, he's going to ask her a real. And then the question was, how do we clean up the tomato sauce? I wasn't expecting that to be the serious question. And that's a good sign of how you can put humor into a speech. And humor makes the audience want to do what you're doing more. Now, what was Sherry's message? What was she asking us to change? Did anyone catch it? She said it at the very end or towards the end. Did anyone catch what her message was? What she was trying to get the audience to be inspired to do? Oh, we don't have a talkative bunch today. All right. I'll share with what the message was. The message was, turn around, face your fear. Don't turn your back on your fear. Even if you're scared, don't turn your back. Now, I mentioned I was in the audience that day. I was in there with about 3,000 other people. That was a big audience she was speaking in front of. So when she said she was a little bit scared, I believe her. That's pretty scary to speak in front of that many people. She did very well, I thought. Let's hear from someone who hasn't talked today. Let's hear from Eva. Or did Eva talk? I guess she talked a little bit. Eva, what did you like about Sherry's speech?
It was, I don't know.
You don't know. Did you like it?
Not really.
You didn't really like her speech. Oh my goodness. Interesting. Eva didn't like the speech. Who else here didn't like it? Did anyone not like it like Eva? I'm shocked. Eva's the first person to ever say she didn't like a speech. Very interesting. Sherry came second. And history was made that day. For the first time in the history of the competition, all three speakers were women. That's the first time that's ever happened. Usually it's men that are up there. So first, second, and third were all ladies. Girl power was on display that day. Okay, I thought Sherry did a great job with humor, and her message was very strong because we're all scared of something. In fact, I bet some of you right now are scared about being in this class. Why would I say that? I mean, I hope I'm not scary. But why is this class maybe a little scary? Does anyone know? Oh, Jack had a hand up. Maybe. Jack, did you put your hand up? No, Jack did not.
Teacher. Nothing, teacher.
Why do you think it's scary? Why is today scary?
I just a little sleepy.
Oh, you're a little sleepy. You're stretching. I'm with you on that. I'm a little
Yes.
sleepy too.
Stretching.
It's what?
Yes, I'm stretching.
Oh, you're stretching. Nice. Good to stretch. Most people, if you tell them, what are you most scared of? Most people's fear, number one fear is this, public speaking. They'd rather not do it. So I commend you all. You're all doing what Sherry is asking you to do. Turn around, face your fear. I'll tell you about a time that I was scared. I was scared when I worked at Starbucks. Does anybody know Starbucks? You can give me a thumbs up if your camera's not on. Or, yep, Cecilia knows. Eva knows. Starbucks is a great company where you can get some great drinks. But it's very complicated to work there. Pang Pang, did you have something to say?
Not really, but
Okay.
very complicated to like work there.
Why is it complicated? Because the recipes for all those drinks, oh my goodness, you got to remember how many pumps to put in. You got to remember how much milk to put in. You've got to remember how to steam the milk. You've got to remember how to put all the ingredients in the blender for the Frappuccino. You got to remember the temperatures. Like there's so much to remember. It's very complicated. And so when I was training, I was staying at the cash register because the cash register, all I have to do is put in the drink and that's it. I'm done. And my trainer said to me, Steve, how are you going to get better at making drinks if you don't make any? And I said, oh, that's a good question, because I was scared of making the drinks. So I thought I just wouldn't go down there. I'm not going to make any drinks. Well, you're not going to get better at anything if you don't do it. That's what public speaking is like. People will sometimes say to me, how do I get better at public speaking? And I tell them, you got to do it. Because if you don't do it, then you can't get better. So I applaud you all for coming today. It's really good that you're coming because this is how you get better at it. And for those that are actually speaking today, so Kevin and Leo and Cecilia and Jack and Pang Pang and even Eva, I give you a little bit of applause because you actually spoke today in class, and it probably was a little scary to do so. But if you come to class and if you're here in class every day, what's going to happen is it's going to feel less scary because you're going to keep doing it and doing it. And the more you do something, the better you get. Did anyone here jump on a bicycle for the first time and bam, they knew how to ride a bike? No crashes, nothing went on. They were perfectly balanced. They rode their bike with no problem. Anybody have that experience? Pang Pang?
Something.
Oh, I thought Pang Pang was going to say something. Jacob was able to do that. Well, Jacob, I applaud you. Most people struggle to learn how to do a bike. They need training wheels. They have to wear helmets and pads because they crash a lot. But then something magical happens. The more you ride the bike, the better you get at it. And next thing you know, you're doing ramps and tricks and all kinds of things. Swimming's the same kind of thing. All right, let's get back into it. I've talked enough. It's time for you guys to talk again because I know you're all dying to talk. So I'm going to call on you to inspire us. I want you to either talk about a story in your life that is inspiring, maybe something good happened to you that you'd like to share, or tell us about a story you know. So like Leo knew a lot about Kobe Bryant, so he could talk about Kobe Bryant, and he was very passionate about that. So the first question I would like to ask somebody, I'm going to ask the question and then we'll see if somebody volunteers. And if no one volunteers, then I'm picking people, which is kind of fun. I like to pick people. So here we go. The question is, what gets you excited? What hobby in your life do you really, really love to do? I'd like to hear somebody tell us a hobby that they really like to do. Oh, Cecilia going to volunteer. Go ahead, Cecilia.
I like to write stories.
What was that?
I like to write stories.
Ah, now why do you like to write stories?
Because it helps me with my imagination.
I love that. It does help you with your imagination. So do you write stories about what happens in your life, or are you writing made up stories?
Made up. They're all fantasy.
Nice. And are they short stories or do you write full books?
Both. I write both.
You write both. I love that. Do you know later today I have a writing class that I'm going to? I love to write. I think writing is a great way to express yourself. So I love that you're doing that. Now, what inspires you when you write? How do you get the ideas to write, Cecilia? Do they just come to your head, or how do you get it?
I get inspired by other artists, by other authors.
Ah, do you have a favorite author that you like? Who's your favorite?
Shannon Messenger.
Okay, I'll have to check her work out. If you were what is her genre? What does she write about?
So it's sort of like a mixture of adventure, fantasy, and mystery.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. I love writing. And again, I could tell you were excited by the way you were talking to me. You were talking like you were excited about this. Writing is so cool. I love that. Okay, who else would like to share? Who else has a hobby they love to do? They love to do it. It doesn't feel like work. Eva's giving me a thumbs up. Okay, Eva, tell me.
Mountain biking.
Ah, you're adventurous, are you? Why do you love mountain biking, Eva?
Because it's fun.
It's fun. Now, do you go alone?
No.
Who do you go with?
My dad.
Ah, okay. And who is braver out there? You or your dad? Who takes more risks?
My dad.
Your dad does. Now, I got a question for you. You said it was morning, so I'm assuming you're living in Canada or North America.
Yes.
Okay. Do you bike in the winter?
No.
No. So now you're not biking.
I go skiing in the winter.
Oh, wow. You are an adventurous person. Wow. What do you like about skiing?
It's fun.
It's fun. But what happens when you fall down? Don't you want to give it up and say, "Ah, forget it. I'm not skiing anymore"?
No.
Why? Why do you keep doing it?
Because I like it.
Because you like it. Yeah. See, there you go. I've only been skiing once in my life. I liked it, but I didn't love it, I guess, because I never went back. Now, both of my sons ski, so maybe I'm going to have to learn how to ski. You're inspiring me here, Eva. Maybe I need to get some skis and go on the slopes. And I think skiing is one of the sports we can still do with COVID. What do you think?
Yeah.
A lot of other sports are canceled. I think you could still ski. Yeah. So maybe I'll go skiing this year. You've inspired me. Look at you. You're already inspiring me. You're not even in a class and you're inspiring me, Eva.
You can
Wow.
wear your balaclava as a mask.
That's right. I never thought of that. And you've got goggles to protect your eyes. So you're all covered. Wow. Okay. You're making me want to go skiing now. Let's see. I'll go find out if there's a ski slope open today. Where have you been skiing? Just in Ontario? Or have you...
St. Louis Moonstone.
I've heard of that one. It's a good ski place. Do you go on the hard hills?
That's where I go ski too.
We have other skiers here?
That's where I go ski too.
Kevin goes skiing there. Kevin, what do you like about skiing?
It's exciting.
It's exciting. But don't you get cold? Isn't it freezing?
Nah, I can wear cold.
No, you're not too cold? Yes.
Yeah, it's not too cold.
Okay. And do you go alone or with family?
I go with my dad.
You go with your dad. Everyone's going with dad to do these adventurous things. That's good. Excellent. Okay, Kevin, I don't know if your dad's near you or not, but tell me honestly, who's the better skier, you or your dad?
Me.
You. Okay, I won't tell him. Nice. Nice. I love that. Okay, Gary has raised his hand. Gary, what do you got to tell us about a hobby?
I like to exercise, and I'm inspired by the doctor. Like before, I don't like to exercise, and my doctor said I need to go to exercise. When I exercise, I just like it.
Wow, your doctor inspired you. That's cool. Okay, what kind of exercise do you like to do? Are we talking about jogging? Are you talking about lifting weights? What are you doing?
Like swimming or biking.
Oh, nice. I love to swim. What do you like to do most?
I think biking.
You like biking more. Now, do you do mountain biking like Eva, or are you just biking on streets and things?
Yeah, sometimes I bike in trails.
Now, I got to ask. I asked Eva, do you bike alone or do other people come with you? Oh, Gary, did you hear the question?
Yes, I bike alone.
You bike alone. Some people like to bike alone because it gives them time to think about things, think about life. Do you always feel better when you come home from a bike ride, Gary?
Yeah, I was upset and now go to ride and then I'll feel better.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great story. Boy, you guys are starting to inspire me. I can hear your enthusiasm in your voices. Nicely done, Gary. Yeah, biking is so important and getting exercise is so important. When I was young, oh boy, I sound old now. When I was young, when I was a kid, we would play outside and do things outside. And now when I drive around my community, I don't see hardly any kids outside playing. So I think your doctor's right. We need to do more exercise, not just young people. I think everybody needs to. That'd be a great speech for you to give, Gary, on how we should exercise more. I love it. Okay, I may have time for one more person. Does anyone else want to share a hobby that they really love to do, that really gets them going? Now, see, I was trying to... Oh, go ahead, Jack.
I also like skiing.
Another skier. Wow.
I have skied for 3 years.
You've been skiing for 3 years? Or
Yes.
since you were 3? 3 years. What do you like about skiing, Jack?
Just because it's cool.
It's cool. Nice. Very nice.
Get to the highest point. It is too great for me to skiing down from there.
Some of the mountains get really tall and really big. I almost got, you know what? I hate to say this. You're probably going to laugh at me. I got scared of the chairlift. I was afraid I wasn't going to get off when it got to the top and that I would go all the way back down. I don't know if that's happened to anybody, but I was afraid of that happening to me.
I'm not scared.
Huh?
But I'm not scared.
You're not scared. Jack is not scared. He's tackling those mountains. He's going for it. Now, Jack, do other people in your family ski, or do you ski by yourself? Or do other people go with you when you go skiing?
I ski myself.
Very good. Very good. Wow. This is beautiful. I'm so inspired right now. It's funny how when people talk about something they're excited about, you get excited about it. I don't know if everyone else is feeling this, but when I heard Cecilia tell us about writing, I was immediately thinking of, oh, I'm going to write today. I'm excited about this. And then when I heard Eva talk about mountain biking and skiing, I got even more excited. And I thought, you know what? It's been a while since I've skied. Maybe I should try skiing again. And then Gary comes in and says, I ski. No, I do exercise. That's what Gary said. I do exercise, which is what skiing is. So now I'm getting pumped. I want to go to the gym. I want to do things. And then Kevin says he's a skier, which makes me think, oh, maybe I should ski. And finally, Jack comes in and says he loves to ski. Wouldn't that be a great speech to make? Tell everybody why skiing is so good for you. You could inspire people to pick up a sport, to get more active. That's the magic of an inspirational speaker. Now, do I have, let me just see. I think that was my last slide, but I'm just going to double check. No, I want to just do a quick conclusion for you. The conclusion of this class today is that to inspire people, it takes skill. You've got to be able to do the right things. Sherry's speech showed us. It takes humor. It takes speaking loudly enough that you can be heard. You have to do other characters, maybe, like Cecilia told us. But it takes skill. But when it's done, oh, it's such a beautiful thing. And to inspire people, you have to have a story. You have to be able to share your story. So Gary shared a story. He went to his doctor, and his doctor told him, hey, you've got to exercise more, because if you don't, you're going to have health problems. And Gary went out and did it. That's a great story. Shows you how he got inspired. And then have a universal message. And what I mean by that is, make sure when you're trying to inspire somebody, it's something that lots of people can relate to. So Sherry's speech was about being scared. I don't know anyone in life that isn't scared by something. We all have fears. So Sherry's message works for everybody. Gary's message today about getting more exercise. Everybody could benefit from that. That's a universal message. Well, we've come to the end of our session. I'm going to allow questions to come now from either parents or from students. Just don't ask too difficult questions. Otherwise, I may be in trouble here. But you can ask me questions. I would be delighted to continue to talk about public speaking. I thank you all, whether you got up early in the morning or whether you rushed through dinner to be here. I thank you for coming to class today and for facing your fear. It's so important. So Sherry's speech is, you guys are doing it. You are turning around and facing your fear. So with that, I open it up for questions. Does anybody have questions for me about public speaking?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Is there any Toastmaster for kids?
So there is a Toastmasters program for kids. It's very difficult to get in, unfortunately, because it takes a lot to organize them. They're called youth leadership programs. They run for, oh, sorry, go ahead. They run for about 8 weeks. And you can sometimes find them running through either a school or through maybe on their own, sometimes through a church. And they cover the basics of communication when the 8 weeks. And you would be in a group of, it depends on the ages that they set up. But yes, there is a youth leadership program which can operate for kids under Toastmasters.
Excuse me. So that I thought in China, in Shanghai, there is another one made by Chinese, which also get the Toastmaster, the biggest Toastmaster give the admission to make up that, and I think that is also for child, but maybe I think we only have it in China, I thought.
Right.
Because it was made by Chinese.
Yes,
which also
possibly. I mean, that's the thing about Toastmasters. Toastmasters is international. It's around the world. I loved when I went to that convention where Sherry spoke. There was 110 countries, I think, were there. And they all got their flags carried in. It was quite inspiring. It was almost like the Olympics. It was really cool. So yes, Toastmasters does have youth leadership program. But you really don't get into the deeper skills there. It's very much the basics, not much deeper than that. So that's why in my classes, I try to get deeper into things, to talk about inspirational speeches, to talk about persuasion skills. Those are things that would not be covered in the youth leadership program. Good question. Thank you for asking. Any other questions from the group? You're going to let me off easy today.
Very good, Steve. Steve, I'm gonna challenge your question.
Okay, challenge me, Uncle Michael.
No, because there are some parents asking me already, and also in today's class, there are some students already registered for the winter camp, right?
Right.
Upcoming end of January. So basically, for example, the last slide show them how to inspire people, right?
Right.
Some parents ask, more like a class brief content, how you are gonna train the students, the skill sets needed to inspire people for the for the upcoming winter camp program, right? 12 classes. Right. Basically, you don't mind share a little bit with them?
Sure. No, I don't mind at all. The class would be very interactive. So I encourage and create an atmosphere where the student feels comfortable sharing, because we have to uncover, in case of, if we're going to go with the inspirational speech, we have to uncover what the student is passionate about. And we caught a few signs of it today with people mentioning some famous people that inspire them. So Kobe Bryant and and then talking about activities they like. That can be a gateway for us to discover what they're excited about. So once we find out what they're excited about, then I work with the child and we work on the content of the speech and how we deliver that speech in an effective way. So they'll learn how to create an opening that catches audience's interest. You noticed in Sherry's speech, she started the speech with her back to the audience. That was a very bold move, but it caught our attention because it was different. And so I work with the kids and we talk about how can we create a opening that has a hook that gets the audience wanting to listen to the rest of the message. Then we cover how to write the speech, the right words to choose. We talk about wimpy words or words that are weak, words such as maybe and just and try. And we talk about words that we could use in place of those that will make the message stronger. So we also cover vocabulary. And then finally, we really practice with the kids. So they get a chance to keep coming to class and practicing their speech and getting comfortable with it so that when it comes to the final, they can present that inspirational speech to an audience. That's the end goal, is to present an inspirational speech to the audience. And I've seen some wonderful ones. There was one last year where we uncovered that this girl loved art. She loved art. She loved to draw. And so her speech became Art is Art. It was the title. And what she was encouraging the audience to do is not be critical of art, to just embrace it for what it is. It's a vision of somebody's creativity. It was a very inspirational speech and gave the audience a great insight into the mind of an artist. And that's what a good inspirational speech will do. So hopefully this is answering Uncle Michael's question. The first thing is we have to unlock what the students are passionate about. Then I give them the tools to create an engaging speech based on a topic that they already love. And I show them the ways to deliver that message effectively. And the end result is they will have, at the end of all the classes, they will have an inspirational speech that they will deliver to an audience, not just to the class, but to an audience. And like I say, I've seen some great speeches, and I think I think the youth can really inspire people because of their passion for their particular subjects.
Totally, Steve. That's a very detailed, great answer to my question. And I agree with you. Actually, you're asking all the students, the kids today, what inspired them. Actually, my answer to Uncle Michael, that's youth. That's all the students. That's you guys. They are the biggest inspiration to mentors, to
Yes.
Uncle Michael. Keep doing and inviting teacher Stephen and many other teachers to give all the students in the world the really valuable and information, the lessons, right?
Yeah.
To help them to improving every day, and not only for English speaking, also for many, many different subjects to help them along the way for the future, to make them a world leader for the future, right?
Yes.
So you have to be more confident when you speak up, right?
Mhm.
And stand on your ground. So that's inspired me and my team for mentors to keep bringing the nice teacher like Stephen to help you guys out. But by the way, that's a great answer, Steve. So basically, my understanding, for the ongoing classes, there will be a homework after every class. They can do research, preparation, vocabulary, writing down
Yes.
story.
Yes.
At the end, the major deliverable will be a speech for a few minutes. They
Yep.
will give it to the parents, audience, the leaders, like us. Will go there to cheer for the students, right?
Yeah.
As a final, it's not exam, right? More like
Nope.
final delivers. Yeah.
Final delivery, and it's a way to inspire the community. And I love those showcases because we hear such wonderful messages from the youth. And you're right, Uncle Michael, they do inspire. just by their enthusiasm for the subject.
Exactly, and their passion and then their creative.
Yes.
That's sometimes the people like age you and me, Uncle Stephen or Uncle Michael, we lack of, right? Because been there, done that. But the young generation, they bring lots of new ideas.
Yes.
And energy into the world. Last not the least, Steve. By the way, I know you're gonna use a TED Talk because in China also very popular as a Toastmaster.
Yep.
TED Talk style help them to be a better inspirational speaker. And also today, some parents from China can tell they ask me maybe this level inspirational speaking a little bit more challenging or tougher to them because this geared for grade 7 or 6 above, right? Grade 6 above.
Yep.
And some students with a fundamental of a public speaking training already.
Right.
But we do have ongoing classes from beginning January, right?
Yes.
The winter term.
Yes.
That's what we call the engaging, right? Engaging or emerging.
Emerging.
Do you mind? Because some parents worried if my case not, the speaking, the skills level to catch up this class.
Right.
Do you mind a quick introduction for another level for beginners?
Yes. Yeah, this was fun to do today because it is the most challenging. But yes, I do offer an emerging speaker class, which is perfect for those that are either younger than the age that Uncle Michael just said, so younger than grade 6, or they are just starting to find their voice. They're just new to this. They want to learn some new skills. So there is the Emerging Speaker Program. Now, the Emerging Speaking Program has been a lot of fun. The speeches there are going to be about themselves, something about themselves. They're not trying to inspire the audience. What they're trying to do there is they're just trying to open up and share something about themselves. That's the final project there. What we learn along the way is, there's a few skills behind the speech. That course also features the impromptu speaking. I call it off the top of our head speaking. So we go deeply into how do we speak impromptu. So today, when I was asking people questions, you saw some variety of answers to those questions. And some people are good at it, and some people maybe have a challenge with it. So this class will help those that are challenged with trying to speak without preparation, just being called on to speak. So we talk about that. And then we also share that one. We talk about how you transition your points. How do you go from talking about a vacation in Florida to a vacation in the East Coast, and then to a vacation in New York City? Because sometimes the children will do speeches about vacations they've taken. So we talk about how do you transition your points? And then how do you get a satisfying conclusion? How do you wrap things up so it's a definite conclusion? We teach it. I teach them that saying, "That's it, I'm done," is not a conclusion. Or just coming and saying, "The end," that's not a conclusion. We have to hear the message being wrapped up in a way that the audience understands, okay, this speech is now over. It's not left up to the audience's imagination. So we cover in that particular class, it's kind of the basics of public speaking. So we'll cover the speech structure. We talk a lot about the transition. How do you transition from point to point to point? And then we talk about how to have a satisfying conclusion to your speech. While doing that, we're also talking about impromptu speaking without being prepared, like today when you saw me asking questions of the group. So that is the Emerging Speakers Program. We've seen some wonderful speeches from that, and I've seen tremendous growth from people in that program.
Very good, Steve. Thank you. Due to the time, right? I just quickly wrap up.